Season 5 might just be days old for us. However, it has already been a very, very busy transfer window. We have sold a few players, we have brought in quite a lot of players, and I'm starting to bring in some of the youngsters from all the different corners of the earth. And by all the different corners, I mean mainly Brazil and some of Africa. Obviously, last season we finished in 7th place in the table, which meant literally nothing. We went into the weird playoff thing. Nobody really cared. I didn't understand what went on. But it doesn't really matter, because now Season 5, we are aiming upwards, and we are hopefully going to be finishing in the top 6. And I want to be qualifying for Europe once again. And obviously the transfer window is open because it is the 1st of July. We have a transfer budget of £3.28 million still to spend. We have spent a bit of money as well. The reason why we've got some money to spend is we might have sold probably somebody you were expecting to sell, to be honest. That's right, Arcilla has left the club. He's actually moved over to Manchester City and returned on loan until the end of the season. However, I might cancel this loan because he is a non-EU player and I don't want to make somebody else's player better at football. I'd rather make one of our own players better at football. We'll see how things go. Obviously, we've got the entire transfer window to decide if we're going to do that, and if we are going to do that, we probably do need to replace Silla with somebody else. I don't know whether I told you how much he went for. He's gone for £2.9 million. I think it could go even higher than that. We've also got a 50% sell-on clause in there, so if he ever leaves Man City for a nice big fee, in the hundreds of millions would be nice. We're getting literally half of it. He's not the only player to leave the club on a reasonably sized deal. Johan Martinez has moved over to Saudi Arabia, a player we brought in on a free transfer. Didn't really play much in the first season, played loads in the second. He's moved over £1.2 million. It is a gap now we have in our squad on that left-hand side, but don't worry, we have done some investing already, and we've still got plenty of the transfer window to go to try and find ourselves some decent attacking midfielders. We've also sold Rasim Bulic, a player that we signed in Season 2, maybe. He has moved over to Victoria Pilsen. He's gone for a small fee. Basically, he was out of contract very, very soon, so £56,000. He did play a lot of football, so we do need to now bring in another defensive midfielder to fill that gap. And a few youngsters have also moved on. David Holub could be his name. He's moved over to Slavia Prague. Basically, couldn't do much about this. They just offered some money, and he got accepted for some reason. I think because he was a youth player, they were just able to take him, which is kind of annoying. Isaac Asai, another youngster, has moved over to Vyskov on a small fee, about, nearly £40,000. That's not too bad. And for £41,000, Dino Kalina has also moved over to Vyskov. So we've lost a few youngsters, but nobody too exciting. Joining the club then. In order that they came into the club, we have Salou Diallo, who is an 18-year-old Senegalese goalkeeper, signed from, where did we sign him from? Generation Foot, I believe it is Generation Foot, for £155,000. Now you might be thinking, what's going to happen with Salou Diallo? Well, basically what's going to happen, he's going to sit in our reserves or hopefully get loaned out, because we have also brought in another goalkeeper, and he's pretty good, and he's only 18. And that is the Brazilian Gui, who has signed from a random team in Brazil. We had two players that kind of popped up from RFC, and I went, he's amazing. For £140,000, Gui looks really, really good, so he's been brought to the club, and I think he might be our number one goalkeeper. If we do a comparison, this is where this doesn't work, but if we do a comparison against Dudu, I don't know whether is he better? Dudu's probably considerably better, right? So Dudu's on the right. So when it comes to goalkeeping ability, communication, eccentricity, first touch and stuff like that, Dudu's got this hands down. However, mentally, Gui's there. Physically, Gui is there as well. So I think Gui might become our number one goalkeeper, maybe even this season. We've also signed a 19-year-old Algerian and French defender. That was all important for me to make sure he was actually part of the EU as well. Syed Chaib could be his name. He has been signed from, what are they called? It is USM Alger, a team that is always a good one to have a look at if you want to get some decent youngsters. £240,000 might seem on the steep side. However, I think we've got ourselves a good youngster. 2 caps already for Algeria at just 19 years old. And another youngster joining this time from Colombia is Ruben Leon, a 19-year-old Colombian, and I believe he is also part French. He has signed from America de Cali, a team that if you want to get decent young Colombians, go to that one. He's cost £825,000. It's a steep fee for a 19-year-old who has got a lot of work still to go, but there's that 5-star potential, which I'm hoping he can obviously fulfill that, because if he can fulfill that, we've got ourselves a very good, decent right winger. He does need to train to be a right winger, though. We've also poached a 22-year-old called David Hubica, could be his name, from Slavia Prague. He's come in as a rotation player because we needed some more, basically EU and arguably more Czech players. He's come in from Slavia. They weren't playing him. Obviously, he's playing in their B and C team at times. He's cost £48,500. Nothing really exciting. Probably played 3 entire games for us, and then we'll just lose him when he's like 22, 23. He's already 22, when he's maybe 25. Signing on a free transfer is Robert Silagi, could be his name, a Romanian right winger. So this is one of our kind of succession pieces that we are trying to do. We obviously have got rid of a couple of decent players up the top end of the pitch. Silagi is hopefully a decent replacement. He spent a lot of time playing for Sepsi Cluj. He's also got the other Cluj in there. He's got Uneria Slobozia, also in Romania, and a bunch of clubs based in Romania, which is a surprise to absolutely nobody for a Romanian footballer. And the one that I think I'm most excited about is Abubakar Sumahura, who is basically going to be one of our best players, I'm hoping. He can play as a centre-back, he can play as a defensive midfielder if we need him to. He is still only 24 years of age. He's obviously French, so he is part of the EU as well. And for a free transfer, I think this one was an absolute magical piece of business for us to do. That is all we have done so far, but we still have 2 months of a transfer window, maybe month and a week of a transfer window still to go. We've got, like I said, about £3 million to spend if we want to spend it as well. We've only spent £48.5 thousand, plus a bunch more from obviously all of these ones here as well. So we're in a good place. I'm happy with what we've done so far. Can we have a look at released players very quickly? So released players from maybe last season, possibly last season. Anyone of interest there? So we've got Siek, a player that we signed last season. I said he'd probably just get released. He did. Alex Mendez, a player we signed in season 1, has gone. We've got Zwain, the South African. He has also left the club. I don't think there's anyone really too exciting there. Basically, a lot of players who weren't playing a lot of football, and they've just moved on. I know obviously it is early days, but this is what it's going to mean for our squad. I'm thinking Dudu might still need to be locked in as our number 1, because I think he is better than Gui right now, but I might leave that space open and just see what the assistant manager does. We're also keeping in, at the moment, Philippe Dozal, because he did pretty good last season. Can we have a look at his stats last season? He played 32 times, got a 6.78 in the league, so that's not terrible for a 16-year-old at the time, who is now 17. Actually, he would have been 17. He's just about to turn 18. And we also have another new name on this list, and that is Thomas Hudek, who is a 17-year-old central midfielder. And I think he is definitely one for the future. 5-star potential, 2-star current ability. But if you have a look here, he was wanted by a bunch of teams, like not good teams, but a bunch of teams around Czechia as well, like on the transfer, like Slavia Prague, Sparta Prague, teams like that wanted him. Obviously, they don't want him anymore. But yeah, that's why I thought, you know what, let's give him a chance. I might backtrack on this one. Obviously, the window is still open. Lots of time to do lots of transfer business. The big thing for me is I need to decide whether I want to keep Silla or do I replace him. So let's jump forward to around the 8th of September and see what we actually do. It has been a bit of a busy one. Basically, over the course of the summer, we've got too many non-EU players. We need to start shifting some of them on, in particular some of the players who are on the older side or the not quite as good side. So Laturo Belegia is one of those players. He's moved over to SK Beveren in Belgium. £145,000, which is actually a decent amount of money for a player who is getting on a bit. 32 years of age, like I said. Did play a lot last season, but it's fine, we can replace him. We have also loaned out Maximo Heredia. He has gone on loan to Pogoń over in Poland, a team that I did a save on in FM24. And yeah, basically he's gone there with a view for a permanent deal. However, it is an option, so they probably won't trigger it. But it basically means we're not paying for him. He's not going to be playing for us anyway this season because he is non-EU. And we've got players that I'd rather play instead of him. So yeah, Heredia has also moved on. We've got 3 more players who have joined the club. Badara Ndao is one of them, an 18-year-old Senegalese right-back signed from, I'm going to say Generation Foot. It's normally Generation Foot. It's not. It's the Aspire Academy. We have brought him in on a free transfer because he looks pretty good, and he's immediately gone out on loan because we're not going to play him. He is non-EU, so that's the reason why I've loaned him out. But I've just looked at these mental numbers and gone, yep, come to me. You're amazing. Physically as well, looks really good. So I'm happy with that. He's going to get a lot of football playing in the 2nd division in the Czech Republic, which is nice to see. So yeah, I'm happy with this one. I'm also happy with this one. Luis Enrique is a Brazilian central defender signed from RFC, which is the same team that we signed Gui from, and he has cost us £160,000. He's good. He's come in as a star player. He wanted that in his contract, and I don't negotiate these things. I went, sure, whatever. He's going to get annoyed because I don't think he's going to be playing every single game. As you can see from his season stats, he hasn't started a game yet, has come off the bench 4 times in the league, once in the FA Cup. But yeah, Luis Enrique, I think, is definitely one for the future. Problem is, much like pretty much every player I seem to be buying at the moment, he is only Brazilian, and that's all he can do at the moment. So he's going to need to stay here for 5 years to hopefully get himself a lovely EU passport, and then he's not going to count as a non-EU player. The last player to join the club is the Ange Silla replacement. That's right, we have returned Silla back to Manchester City because he is non-EU, and we have brought in Algerian striker Mustafa Lama. Now, you might be saying, but hold on, Algeria isn't in the EU. You'd be right in thinking that, but luckily for us, France is in the EU, and he is a second nationality of French, so that is obviously good. It means we can play Philipp Lama without really worrying too much about whether we can kind of register him into the squad. I think Lama is going to be superb. I think he's going to be just as good as Silla. He's not cost a lot of money either, just £130,000 from ASO Schleff in Algeria, a team, again, I say this a lot, this is a good team if you want to buy decent Algerians. Probably check those guys out because they do seem to get them quite frequently. So yeah, Lama, probably going to be our lead striker. That is all the transfer business that we have done so far. We have got a few players going out on loan as well. So Filip Latafa, a player who came through our youth and taken maybe season 1. We've also got Salilhovic, who has gone on loan to Rudar in his native Bosnia, I believe is where he's gone. I think that's where they are. Yep, he's gone there, so he's going to get some game time, which is obviously good for his development. We know about Badara and Dow and Maximo Heredia as well. And this is what it means for our squad. I don't think I'm going to lock in anybody. I think I'm just going to let my assistant manager do what he wants to do, and he can pick the best players that he wants to pick. So if we sort by our best 11, this is what is, in theory, on paper, our best 11. So Gui is our number 1 goalkeeper. I might need to look into that and maybe locking in Dudu, or maybe we leave Gui. Maybe we just leave it. We've also got Ndao as our best right back. Obviously, he's gone out on loan, so he would end up getting replaced. We've got Fredriksson and Heredia. Obviously, he is out on loan. And at Pfeiffer as our left back. We've got Sumahoro. I think, realistically, Sumahoro is going to be playing in that position. We've got Kasainov? Who's Kasainov? We'll come back to him. Castilla in the middle. We've got Silagi and Sama on the wings and Lama up front. Kasainov is a name that I do not recognise. He's an 18-year-old from Kazakhstan. Okay, I didn't buy him. He came for our youth intake in Season 2 by the looks of it. And he is good enough to be playing for us. Interesting. Does he count as... Is he part Czech? Please be part Czech. Second nationality Czech. Okay, that's good. My worry there, because I don't think... I'm 99% sure Kazakhstan is not in the EU, meant that he counted as a non-EU footballer. But luckily, he counts as EU because he is a second nationality of Czech. So that's an interesting one to me. I think realistically, it probably shouldn't be him. But then again, looking at the list of players we've got there, he might actually be the best option. Other things that have gone on, the season has obviously kicked off. 8 games so far played. 3 wins, 3 draws, 2 defeats. So not a terrible start, not an amazing start either. We draw too many games, and I don't know how to stop it. I would love to just actually win a consistent amount of games, but we seem to draw a lot of games. So the wins have come against, if we have a quick look here. So we lost to Slavia, we beat Slovako, we beat Vlasim, we also beat Hradec Kralove. We have then lost, as I said, against Slavia and Brno, and then we have drawn with Mlada Boleslav, we've drawn with Victor Pilsen, and we've drawn with Sigma Olomouc. We've also beaten Brandis Nadlabem, who are a amateur side, a local team. They are semi-professional. We've absolutely smashed them 6-1 to get through to the 5-0, sorry, to get through to the next round of the cup. So Hudek getting on the score sheet, so it's good to see Hudek still getting some game time. He has been dropped to the B team after playing all season last season. But yeah, so far, season's kind of gone okay. I'm thinking FA Cup could be interesting, but I'm not holding my breath. Obviously, the last 4 seasons in the FA Cup, we just get knocked out by one of the bigger boys. If we can avoid all the bigger boys, we could have a good cup run, but let's not count our chickens. And as the season preview thing now works, we can actually see where we're expected to finish. So we are currently expected to finish in 10th place, which is still not great, but we're on 50-1 with Dukla Prague, Kralove, ourselves, Boleslav, Teplice, and Slovako. So there's a big old bunch of teams sat in the middle of the table. I think we should be good enough to finish in the top 6. That's where we want to be finishing. And interestingly, Gui is the best goalkeeper in the league. That is a surprise to me. And when we look here at the squad in particular, so Gui in goal, Cordoba as a left back, I'm not too convinced that's what you want to be doing. Sumahuro, we've got Luis Enrique, we've got Pfeiffer, we've got Fredriksson as the defence midfielder, Kasainov, is even in the media's kind of prediction where we're going to be playing him, Castilla, Silagi, Sama and Lama lead in the line. So I'm hopeful. Top 6, I'm hopeful. Let's jump forward to the end of the regular season and see if we have managed to finish in the top 6. Yes, we have, but we almost threw it away by the looks of it. So the last match of the season we actually lost, but we did win 3 on the spin to secure us a currently 5th place position, which means we are in the top 6 we have a chance of qualifying for the Europa League, the Europa Conference League, or maybe the Champions League. It's not going to be the Champions League, let's be honest, because I think for that you need to finish in the top 2, and we are currently 11 points behind second place. We've got 5 games to play. 5 times 3 is 15. We have to win absolutely everything and hope Jablonec don't win anything. Same with Sparta Prague. Same with Victoria Pilsen. I don't think it's going to happen. I think mathematically it's not possible. Something that is possible, however, we could win the FA Cup. We are through to the semi-final. In the third round, we beat Karvina 3-1. In the fourth round, we then beat Slovako on penalties, a 1-1 draw in the match. In the quarter-final, we beat Brno 1-0 away from home, setting up a semi-final against Ceska Bujovica, could be their name, and Banaka Ostrava versus Slavia in the other semi-final. If we win and Banaka Ostrava win, I think we have a chance. If we win and Slavia Prague win, we've got no chance because they're just going to batter us. So we're in a weird situation in the FA Cup where we want Banaka Ostrava to beat Slavia. We don't really care too much about our match as long as we win it, and we really don't want Slavia to win theirs because Slavia, they'll beat us. They will just beat us. And I say this because they won 2 of the last 4 seasons. The other team to win the other 2 is Sparta Prague. So basically, if you're from Prague, you've got a chance of winning the FA Cup. Pardubice probably haven't got a huge chance. I do want to check, actually. Can we find out, have we ever won the cup? The question is, how do I find it? Right, let's go over club history. So, club history and records. Don't think this is where we want to be looking at. It says we've got 1 major honour, and that's it. 1 Czech second division win, and that is all. That is it. Literally, we've won the second division in 2020 and came 3rd in 2018. So winning the FA Cup actually would be a massive deal for this Pardubice side. Before we get there, however, I do want to take a very quick look at the players. So we've got 2 players who are scoring all of the goals. Robbie Sama, still another season where he's just getting loads and loads of goals for fun. He's got 14 assists as well, which is kind of ridiculous. If we have a look at his career stats, so 8 league goals, 14 assists this time around. He's 28 and he's not amazing, really. But he's just doing the job. I'm wondering whether he's just got decent mental numbers. But yeah, he seems to be doing a pretty good job. And then Mustafa Lama, the Algerian, now international with 6 caps, 0 goals to his name, is the top goal scorer by a fair distance. 20 league goals, 4 in the FA Cup. Mustafa Lama was a pretty good replacement, I think, for Arne Silla. I'm also interested, who was our number 1 goalkeeper? It does look like it's Gui. So we've got this guy who doesn't play, we've got Dudu who hasn't played, and Gui has been our number 1 goalkeeper for the season. He has kept 9 clean sheets. He's done pretty good, right? What I do want him to do, however, is keep a clean sheet in the FA Cup semi-final, and then ideally the FA Cup final. That will be good. If we can win a trophy with Pardubice in Season 5, I'm going to take that as a huge step and a huge win for us. Before we jump to the other side, though, of the FA Cup semi-final and hopefully final, and obviously the Championship group as well, we have got a bunch of youth players to take a look at. I mean, we've got like 3 that I'm probably going to show off. We've got Martin Vasera, who is the star of the youth intake. Mentally looks pretty good. Physically, or technically, sorry, doesn't look amazing. Technique and first touch is good. Could do with increasing his passing, but Vasera does look pretty decent. We've got Martin Dudu. Duda, sorry. He is a left-back, 15 years of age, nothing too special. And let's have a look at Libor Herzan, a 15-year-old left winger by the looks of it. Again, doesn't look too amazing. Got decent physical numbers, mental not too outstanding. Technically, he's lots and lots of 8s in his technicals. Bump them up by like 3 or 4, and he's going to start looking like a really good footballer. But that is obviously a few seasons away. We're now going to jump forward to the end of the current season, and I hope the next thing you see is highlights of an FA Cup final. Well, you've probably worked it out that we did get into the FA Cup final, and luckily for us as well, it was up against, what is it, Banaka Ostrava? I think it's Banaka Ostrava. It's just FCB, Barcelona, I assume. After 50 minutes, half-time has obviously passed. It is still 0-0. We are passing the ball around inside our own half. What is going to happen? Kasainov is still playing, which I'm kind of surprised with, but also love the fact that he's still playing. Robbie Sama on that left-hand side gets past his man, down the wing, keeps running towards goal. Is he going to play it across, or is he going to go at himself? He goes at himself. We take the lead. 51 minutes, almost exactly on the clock, and Pardubice take the lead in the FA Cup final. And then just a few minutes later, Pardubice once again coming forward with the ball. Silagi on that right-hand side loses out to Callum Stiles. Is that the former Celtic man? I believe it's the former Celtic man. Lama plays the ball in to Silagi. He tucks the ball away. We double our lead. A very quick fire couple of goals for Pardubice against Baník Ostrava means we are 2-0 up in the Czech FA Cup final. Could we possibly win our first ever Czech FA Cup with Pardubice? Our first ever trophy as well in charge. Well, on the 75th minute, we have ourselves another highlight. Is this going to go our way, or is this going to go the way of Baník Ostrava? Pfeiffer with the ball on that left-hand side, plays it on the ground. It is Robbie Sama once again, backwards to Castilla, in the middle, finds Lama, plays off towards the left, towards Robbie Sama, can't quite get there, so it's all the way back to the keeper, and he doesn't let that ball roll in. I thought he was about to let the ball roll in then. Has it once again. Like I said, we've got 15 minutes of normal time to play, a 2-goal advantage. If we concede, it could be disastrous. If we are the team to score, it is game, set and match, and we are probably going to be winning the FA Cup. Kabala on the right-hand side finds our former player, Lammers. Kabala once again takes a few touches, gets around his man, plays it across the Planka, great name, all the way back to Yasui, finds this man in the middle, it's fallen to Kabala, and Baník Ostrava make it 2-1. And is there another highlight? There is not another highlight, and it means Pardubice have won the Czech FA Cup for the first time ever. The first time ever we have won the Czech FA Cup. If we go over to our formation and our players. So Luis Enrique gets 7.5. Sumahoro playing as the DM. That's kind of why he was a little bit further up the pitch than I was expecting him to be. 7.5 as well. Sama, a goal in the final. We've got Silagi with a goal as well in the final. Lama getting a 7.3, I'm assuming, because of his assist. And we've picked up a trophy. Season 5, we picked up a trophy, and I think as well, it means we have qualified for the Europa Conference League because we've won the FA Cup. But we might have also qualified for the Europa League because we finished 4th place in the table, and I don't understand what this means. So 1st and 2nd place, Champions League. 3rd place, don't know what that pink one is. 4th place is yellow. Yellow is Europa League or Conference League. It could be both, it could be either, I don't know. I'm assuming it's the Europa League, and Victoria Pilsen are going to drop into the Europa Conference League. Jablonec are going to be also in the Europa League qualifying rounds too. And just to remind you, we were 50-1. We were initially, I think it was like 8th or 10th place, we were expected to finish. We have actually finished in 4th place, which is our highest ever finish in charge of Pardubice. And we are slowly making ground. We're still not making it consistently, but we are slowly making ground. I want to take a quick look at the rankings of the league. So Czechia still in 10th place there, which is not really a surprise to anybody. Can we also... I need to find the coefficients. There we go. So nation coefficients. We have... I think we've kind of not really moved too far, to be honest. So we are still 10th place. We've dropped a whole bunch of points. But obviously everyone else around us has also dropped a bunch of points. Obviously, Season 6, we are going to be in Europe. I don't know what league it's going to be in, whether it's the Europa League or Europa Conference League, but we're going to be in European competition, which means we're going to start hopefully contributing to the coefficient points, which would be nice. We are still a long, long way away from breaking into the top, 5. That's where you want to be, top 5. Then you're going to start being able to kind of bring in amazing footballers into the nation. We're doing all right. We're not doing horrendous, but I don't think we've actually moved anywhere since we started the save. So the top goal scorer then was Mustafa Lama, finishing on 25 in all competitions. Just 4 in the FA Cup, obviously an assist in the final, but no goal. He's good. I feel like we might be stuck in a similar situation that we were with Arcilla, where somebody's just going to come in for Lama. His value's a lot higher than Silla was, so if we can get like £5 million cash and a 50% sell-on, we might need to do that. I don't want to sell him if we don't have to, but we are still a small club. We do need to start selling players. Financially, we are 5 million in debt. That's a lot of debt. Where's that debt come from? I'm not gonna read too much into it, okay? I'm not gonna read too much into it because I think what's most likely going to happen is the board is just going to pay us out. This is what, if we have a look here, this is what these big spikes are here, is the board just going, here, have some more money, here, have some more money. So I'm not going to read too much into it. Can we even see this season? Can we see what the breakdown? No, we can't. It's Football Manager. It's fine. We can't see what the breakdown is, but I'm not going to care too much that we're £5 million in debt. I don't think we're going to have to start selling players quickly in order to keep the club afloat. Season 5 then is complete, and we have finished in the Europa League spot. We've won the FA Cup, which means Season 6, we probably need to be doing a little bit more strengthening, and I'd love to try and win the FA Cup again. Like, maybe that's what we do. We win the FA Cup every single season. Obviously, we want to start making some decent headway as well when it comes to playing in the Europa Conference League 2, or the Europa League, or ideally, the Champions League. That one's probably a step maybe too far at the moment.